We're going to be looking at intra-party crisis in Nigeria, designed or accidental. And right here in the studio with me is Nnadiume Awforkansi. He is a legal practitioner. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
All right, so now we're looking at the intra-party crisis. First of all, what is your opinion with the current, back and forth and the crisis happening among almost all the parties now?
Well, if you look at the trajectory of the intra-party crisis, because we have inter-party crisis, we have intra-party crisis. Yeah. Now, if you look at the trajectory of the intra-party crisis, you find out that that is reminiscent of Nigerian political culture, because the other day I was here, I think I defined Nigerian politics as the politics of the oppressor against the oppressed, in which the oppressor is a winner takes all. I think that was the definition I gave, and I carried on with that definition. Now, this issue of winner takes all, that is where the intra-party crisis is rooted. Because if it is politics for service, as is done in other climes, you won't see intra-party crisis. But it is politics of winner takes all. And it is politics of oppressor. So everybody wants to grab as much as you can while you are there. And I said the other day that even we, the voters who are in the majority, even aid them. Because if for instance, Awforkansi is today appointed secretary of PDP in Enugu State, after 1 year, maybe I have not attracted anything to my community. They'll say, what are you doing in that place? You can't even bring good road. You can't even give us pipe-borne water. Not knowing that I'm a party secretary and that I have no budget besides the one the party contributes. So I will try to know how I can shortchange, circumvent the system so that I can coerce the governor to bring something to my community so that my community will be pleased with me. So in the course of doing that, you find out that while I do it for the first 1-2 years, some other person will start eyeing that very office again, saying that, I don't even know that the party secretary is as lucrative as this. Before you know it, he will gang up with some people to upstage me so that he can take over my position. I think you're getting my analysis. So that is how this intra-party crisis erupts. Now, let's just take the latest one that happened with APC, that made their president resign in the evening of Friday. Ganduje has been a corrupt politician right from day one. It is of public knowledge. See him stuffing dollars in Babariga with the camera in national TV. So the man now, because the polity brings also corruption, and the people in the polity are corrupt, they now brought in. Because if you're a thief and you want to marry a lady, you don't go to the convent to look for a reverend sister who missed her ordination. You look for a lady who may have stolen sweets somewhere in the supermarket and say, okay, thank God, this one, when I steal, he will keep it for me. So APC now went for him as national chairman because it is best of the same feather. Now Ganduje became the national chairman. Rather than governing Nigeria, the APC became so much interested and engulfed in 2027. Who becomes the next president, who becomes his vice. So he went to the, I think, Northeast caucus, the meeting. And they were saying that they have endorsed Tinubu for a second term. And the House brothers asking, okay, what about Shetima? Are you endorsing Tinubu? He said, no, let all leave Shetima for another day. Then crisis erupted. Ever since then, there have been mounted pressure. Okay, you are feeling fat on Tinubu. And you also want to circumvent your own brother, who is the vice president, even though all of them are the same, best of the same fellow, like I said, because none of them is cleaner than the other person. So the pressure mounted on him, move away so that another person will go in. So that the pressure mounted and mounted and mounted. He resigned the evening of Friday last week. I think that was Friday was 29th or so, or thereabout. As we had, before you know it, it even flooded all the internet space. It was the same struggle that bred that one. Now look at the issue of Labour Party, where I can authoritatively say I belong or I belonged. Abure tried a lot to wipe the party into success in 2023 election because it was a very huge success. But he has actually destroyed the house he built because he still wants to sit on top of that very oligarchy to collect as much for his pocket, not for us that he actually worked for. That is why people have said, no, gentleman, you have done a good job. Let us clap for you and then step aside so another person can take over. Because it is, after this, the other person. It is democracy. He refused. Before you know it, he went to Nnewi, organized a convention, and reproduced himself as national chairman, and continued going to court. You know our judiciary and their antecedents. Well, surprisingly, when he got to the Supreme Court said otherwise, and told him it's an internal affair of the party. If the party says you should go, you should go.
But looking at the way this crisis has been going, almost every party, PDP, Labour Party, NDC, NFPP, all of them have these rival factions.
Yeah.
Now, would you say it's a coincidence that all these major parties are fighting among themselves, or is it just the way the Nigeria's political system is set up?
No, it is the way the Nigerian political system is shaped. And I said it as my commencement of this my intro. If we copied the presidential system from the United States of America. Now, how many times have you heard, because the whole world is now in one village. Whatever happens in America, the next minute you hear it here through your phone. How many times have you heard that the Democratic Party in the United States is fighting over the chairmanship of the party? Do you even know who is the chairman of the Democratic Party in the United States? Do you even know who is the secretary of the party? You don't even know these things because their duties are streamlined and they follow the constitution that created them. A friend of mine went to monitor American election during, I think that was, I think it was during the election that produced Trump a second time now. And I asked him, you were a press man, you were in the United States to follow the international to monitor the election. He said yes. Did you see where people were voting? He said yes. That sometimes you'll be driving along, you come to a mall, you see a polling booth there. Somebody will park, you just move in there, park, vote. There are some places where you see, like a village setting, people stay in groups and vote. I said, how many policemen did you see? He said, no, there was no policeman there. How many electoral officers did you see? There was no electoral officer. That if you see any election, there no INEC. So you just come cast your vote and go, and their vote counts. Now, it is the political culture they have developed for themselves. We have not developed that kind of political culture for ourselves. And that is why we're having this. So it is universal in all the political parties. As far as there's something to be gotten from there. Why not ask yourself, why the small crayfish parties that have nobody in the National Assembly, that have nobody in the State House of Assembly, that has no governor, why are they not fighting? If it is something like the universal in Nigeria. They are not fighting because they have nothing to get. They are nothing going into their pocket. So that's why they are not fighting. But those ones who are getting something, they are fighting because of what they are getting. So that's why it is universal. That's why it transcends all the major political parties. It is not about us, it is about them.
All right, but you just gave an example of how elections are being done, abroad, as opposed to here in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, why is it that our own people here cannot cultivate that culture of, having a more organized political system as opposed to what we are facing now?
Well, it is still the same thing I said earlier. Why we cannot have it is because we, the electorate, are encouraging kleptocracy. We're encouraging criminality in politics. If I am elected today as the senator representing Enugu West Territorial Zone, I concentrate on my salary. and I work for my people, whatever comes through their constituency projects, I don't think many people will be interested. And if I am a senator and I go to that senate when there's a need for me to go there, that is, I am a lawyer. I practice my law. If they say senators are sitting next week, Wednesday and Thursday, I go there and sit. After sitting, I get my alert for my sitting allowance. Nobody will struggle to be a senator because there's nothing much there apart from your salary. But because of the fact that I have now been given a house in Asorok and Aso Villa, that this is the senator's quarters, it is monetized in my name, and I'm given constituency allowance. Go and work for your people. They dump money into my account. And then, if there is anything President wants to be voted for in the Senate, excuse me, if there is anything President wants to be voted for in the Senate, they give me money, Ghana must go. That is where, that is why it is happening that way. It is because we are being trained towards stealing as politicians. That is why it is like that. If you are trained to work for the people, it won't be like that. In that place where you are talking about why it's not happening there, it's because they are trained to work for their people. I gave you a instance when I was here. Clinton left office as a president, dusted his wig and gown to go back and practice law, which he is a lawyer. The American Bar Association said no because he lied on that oath when he had Monica Lewinsky crisis. He now left the wig and gown, took his chalk and went to Harvard Law School as a teacher. Obama left the office as a president, went back to the NGO he's running with a wife. In fact, the daughter Malia is richer than the father because the daughter is into show business. She has even a private jet, which the father doesn't have as a former president. But in Nigeria here, tell me how many councillors after being councillor is still a poor person. Councillor, I'm talking about councillor. Once you finish as a councillor, you're a rich man already because he must have stolen enough. That is why it is not happening there. And that's why it is happening here. Because we steal here, they don't stay there. And in that place, if you steal, you go to jail. In China, for instance, if you steal public funds, you'll be executed. In America, you go for life jail. But in Nigeria here, if you steal public funds, they will give you a chieftaincy title. The Igbo will give you an award. And when you are walking in the street, everybody will be hailing you, and you will be going with the convoy. Convoy from consuls. How much was your salary that made you take that convoy?
All right, but what would you say is the role of, the judiciary and the court in this? Because it seems as if court orders now, decide who leads in the parties or the fate of the parties or the final, when they have their issues, they take it to the courts at the end of the day. So what would you say the courts has to play in this?
Our judiciary has their own, you don't have a judiciary that will be a saint when everybody in the society is a criminal. The society produces its own judiciary. Society produces its own police. And the police they will produce in society will correspond with the behavior of the society. So there's nothing different. The judiciary is the same thing. So if you go to the court, the highest bidder, what you're going to get what you want through the back door, so be it. So that's the difference. So Nigerian judiciary, you don't expect anything better from them because it is the product of the same society in Nigeria. So everybody now have to go to judiciary to decide. See, if I slap you here now, and I say, why did you slap me? I say, go to court. There is something, and somebody I kept in that court. That's why I told you to go to court. Because I know you will not get anything in the court. Or I tell you, go and report me to the police. Maybe I have the whole police in my hands. So if anybody knows that he's flouting the rules of his own party, and they will tell you, go to court, there is something he's looking for in that court. Either that his brother is there, his friend is there, or he knows somebody who is there. And the court is manned by human beings. Court is not manned by God. It's not manned by angels. It's manned by human beings. Those judges are human beings. And they come from a society. They come from a village. They come from a ward. They come from a family. They have a father. They have a name. So you don't expect the judge to be a saint when all of us here are criminals. No. So the judge has to be a judge of the same society that produced the judge. So that's why after the rubbish, they tell you go to court. So that is the difference. The judiciary cannot perform any miracle in trying to, well, after all, the one they gave in Abure's case, has it solved the problem in the Labour Party? It has not. They simply told them that it is the internal affairs of the party. Go and solve it internally, which means go back to the battlefield, go and start fighting again. So what type of judgment is that one? So even though they said that Abure's tenure has expired at the at the time so and so, but then, nonetheless, it is still the internal affairs of the party. The court cannot pronounce on it. So that means get your sword again, go back to the battlefield and continue the war. So if Ganduje says he's going to court now on his own, he will not get anything so special. It will still be the same thing. There is internal affairs who becomes the chairman of APC. And they find out also that, like I said, now where stomach face, now all these politicians they go. Everybody who is now defecting, they are defecting to APC. Because they were told erroneously that the result of 2027 election has been written and kept somewhere in America. But when the time comes, they will play they will just call the result. This is 2025. You don't even know what will happen in 2026. You don't even know what will happen next week. And we are telling people that they have written results, so everybody should come to APC. So some people who think they are almost after their stomach, they are all drifting to APC. That's the Nigerian politics for you.
All right, and speaking of this defection now, some people have the opinion that there are external puppeteers, people luring their members, particularly in PDP, luring their members to defect to other parties like APC. So what would you say to that?
Like Wike has not come up to say he's a member of APC, but he's more powerful in APC than even the president, who is an APC candidate. So wherever Wike goes, his supporters will follow him to that place. That is basic. So it is normal that there are people who are throwing carrots to other people to come to their own political party. But the question is, before even you join any political party, what was the ideology of that political party you want to join? You joined? Because Nigerians, if we are playing politics of ideology, I don't think anybody will talk about joining a political party without reading the ideology of that political party. You see, I belong to the obedient movement, and it is a movement. It is not a political party. Anybody can join the obedient movement. Now, we stuck to it. Even when Labour Party began to dilly-dally over Peter Obi's candidacy, the obedient movement was fortified because it is a movement driven by ideology. All right, so that is why it is difficult for people to move out from there to another party. But people jump from one party to the other because they have no ideology. So this is a Nigerian examples I'm giving you, direct Nigerian examples. If you have an ideology in a political party, you don't jump from one party to the other because maybe, okay, I'll give you another instance. Our people who voted for the Labour Party, who are in the National Assembly, wanted to defect to APC. When I was having some discourse with them, they said that they don't get any share, anything again in the National Assembly. They don't get juicy position. They don't appoint them to anything. So they only appoint people in APC. So that they should join the ruling party so that they can get something. I said, so is getting something why you even came to Labour Party ab initio? Or is it because of the ideology of the Labour Party? What did the Labour Party stand for before you joined? Whose mantra were you trying to carry out? They could not answer that question because their interest, that is my people view, their interest was what appointment will be given to them in National Assembly, not what they will get for you. But they will always ratify it by saying when they get an appointment, it will trickle down to you. But you will not ask yourself how many of them have trickled down to us since they got that appointment. So this is a facade. So what I do believe is that one day, the Igbo man says, now they are digging, one day, things must change. This kind of shenanigan that we are playing in Nigeria cannot continue forever. We can't just cast our vote and our neck from nowhere give us a different candidate and we'll keep quiet. It will not happen again.
All right, but I'll just very quickly, what about this issue of godfatherism in parties? Now, do you think it's also one of the major reasons why intra-party crisis seems to be, a lot more now?
Yeah, it is. You got it correct. You see, godfatherism, even though we are trying to play it down in some places, but some place where it still exists, like in River State, it is tearing River State apart. God for that reason. In Lagos State, it is a state capture. In Lagos on a state capture. I will give you an instance. Another in Lagos, just about, I think that was last week. I think they are trying to run local government election, and they were campaigning. And Peter has to go to Lagos to help Labour Party people campaign for local government seats. So people, some traditional chiefs who went to the rally to hear Peter Obi speak, the Oba dismissed them summarily and stripped them of their chieftaincy, because why should they attend? This is Nigeria you're talking about. Why should they attend the rally when Peter Obi came? You see, sometimes things happen here are laughable. During the 2023 election, when Governor Sanwo-Olu was being voted for a second term, you saw Agboros carrying gun in the night, I mean a gong in the night, again. If you don't want to, we are talking to Nnadiume, if you don't want to vote for APC, don't come out at all tomorrow to vote. In the night, too. And in the morning, they carried it out. They came with machetes, they came with guns, they came with every weapon, threatening people, if you are not voting, stay in your house, otherwise we'll kill you. Nigeria, and that's democracy. But in Burkina Faso, where there was a military coup, no single soul was lost. So which one is now even better? We've been thinking that military coup sometimes could be better than Nigerian democracy. Because if you can organize a military coup in Burkina Faso, no life will be lost. And Nigeria will organize an election, and 1,000 people will die. So where do we go from there? So Godfatherism. And that same Godfatherism is what is tearing Benue State apart. That's also what is tearing part of Nasarawa State apart. Because in Benue, I think it's yes, Benue, they elected the Reverend Father Alia a second time. It was Father Adasu some time ago who became their governor. They're always lucky to have Reverend Fathers. But the Reverend Fathers go away disappointing people, because they're supposed to be beacons of example. Now people are dying in droves in Benue. Fulanis are taking over their communities. And we ask Alia that I want to go and visit the IDP camp. That's the internally displaced persons, where they are staying. He said, don't go unless you get my clearance. Somebody want to go and donate his personal money, not your money, to IDP camp, and they'll stop him from going. Reason, because Tinubu told you that the man, people becoming there, will do what? Will make people tilt towards him. You can see the mentality of that. That's Godfatherism. Yes. That is tearing River State apart. Today, we don't have a government in River State. While other states are in democracy, River State in military dictatorship. In Lagos, it is a state capture. Sanwo-Olu simply carries out instructions dished out from Abuja. He has no powers of his own as a governor. So tell me, so Godfatherism is a problem. And until it is conquered, like I think Enugu tried to conquer their own because the governor bought his way through. So whoever says he will just pay the person and go by the side. So it's I think it's better. If you want to contest governor and the governor say you should pay him off and let him go so that you can run the administration the way you like. I think I like the Enugu boy style. So yeah, you pay off everybody and be independent minded. So we say Peter Mba is treating to you. If he respects you, then he want to respect you because of what you are, not because you are going to dictate for him. If you say you must see Peter Mba, you go to his office, don't like this visual something you see here. They'll put on the television, you talk to him through the television, after that you go. So that is better even. So if you have money, if the former governor is selling his ticket, buy it and then so be it and leave the whole thing for the man. Let the man run their affairs.
We'll have to end the conversation here. Thank you so much, Nnadiume Awforkansi. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.